There once was a young man who lived in a river town called Fortham. Now, the people of Fortham were known to be excellent fishers. Now, they didn't go on the sea much. They were river people after all. So every day, half of the villagers at least would be out on a river, and they would be throwing their lines and taking up their nets and setting their traps for the crabs and the lobsters, and some even took to spearing. It was a sport in the town. It's known as sharp fishing. It was a traditional thing that had been passed down from the tribal days. Well, this young man, he had not learned to fish yet. And well, it was his 12th birthday. And what do you do when you're a young man in Fortham on your 12th birthday? You must learn to fish. So, you had to start somewhere. So his grandfather took him around the town and showed him all the different ways, and he saw the people with their lines, and they would throw them out, and some of them would catch these gigantic, flipping, struggling, gulping for water, and then he would take them around across the river to the other side, and there were people with their nets, and they would be catching these pools of salmon and some sardines, and he would go to the people with the traps, and they would always be filled with the most beautiful shellfish, so beautiful that, well, you barely wanted to kill them. Some people actually did keep them as pets. Well, and his grandfather took him around, and after that, he said, well, pick one. The young man, he was amazed by the way that the line fishermen threw the string out into the water, but he saw the intelligence of the nets too, and the bulk that they caught in. And well, the quality of the traps that were set. Well, and as he was thinking, something caught his eye. And he saw that it was a sharp metal arrow of some sort on a wooden pole, and someone was holding it steady. And the sun was reflecting its light brightly off it, and then pulled it out of the water. 3 fish stuck to that bow, stuck to the sphere. And the young man looked wide-eyed and said, "That, I want to learn to fish like that." And his grandfather looked down the river. "Oh, what, like old Neilman? Oh, that's some old-time stuff. You don't want to do that. Besides, that's the hardest kind of fishing you can do. I want to do that. I want to learn to catch the fish like that. But son, it's so rare. It's so difficult. I mean, the chances that you'll actually catch a fish, but he's a special man. I want to learn to fish like that." All right then. His grandfather thought, well, I'll show the boy. He'll see how hard it is, and he'll give up and choose one of the other methods. Come on, I'll introduce you. So he took him downriver. He took him to the man, the spear in hand. And the man was just about to walk back to his hut to clean up his fish and cook a good meal for his family. And the grandfather spoke out and said, Hey Neilman, my grandson here, he saw you fishing just now. Wants to take up your sport." "He wants to learn to fish like me, eh?" "Yes, I do." "Well, it's not easy, young man. I haven't had an apprentice in years. I'd be happy to teach you, but it's going to be a lot of hard work. And you'll have to study things that aren't directly related to this." "I'll do it. I'll do whatever you ask." "Are you sure about this?" "Yes." "Well, all right then. Don't worry, Pops. I'll take good care of the boy." "Yeah, thanks. And if he gives up, just let me know. I'll come and get him." And the man stared at Grandpa. "Yeah, right." And he took the young man under his arm. "So, what made you interested in spearfishing, eh?" "Well, I didn't really know about it before. You see, today's my 12th birthday." "Oh yeah, happy birthday." "Thanks. Well, my grandpa was showing me around town, and he showed me all the different ways of fishing, but, well, I saw that spear in your hand, and I saw the way you moved, and there was something about it. There is something about it. You know, my boy, I was much like you when I was your age. I didn't know what to do. Well, my 12th birthday came around and I was looking around and then I saw him. He was across the river from me and he stood there and he had a style like this. He would hold it like a shovel and he stared into the water and I watched the man for 15 minutes. He just stood there, still as a statue. And then suddenly, bam! Don't be scared. And he caught them. 5 fish in one stroke. 5 fish? Yes. Never been done since then. Not even I've learned to do it like that. But with training and faith, you can become a great spearfisher. So, where shall we begin? You're asking me? Well, I have no idea. Well, of course I'm asking you. Well, you saw it. What do you think you need to be able to do this sort of work? I must have good vision. I have to be able to see into the water. And I also have to know where the fish are in comparison to my vision, because they're going to look different when I look into the water from on the land. Well, that's correct.
All right, guys.
So, we shall work on your vision first. First, I'm going to bring this aside from you. And I will take you into the woods tonight. After dinner, we'll see how many crickets you can catch in the mud pile. Crickets in the mud pile? Don't worry about that. Here, come to my home. I'll introduce you to the family. And so the man took the young man into his home, and what a wonderful dinner they had that night. And afterwards, he went out into the forest and worked on the young man's vision. And when they first went into the forest, they saw nothing at first. Then, the young man began to open his eyes. He began to see crickets. And there were tens of crickets. And then there were hundreds of crickets. And then there were thousands. And he began to pluck them off the ground. They were fast, but so was he. Well, by the end of the night, he had filled a whole bucket with crickets. And he brought it back to the man. He said, "See, look. Ah, that's impressive. So what did you learn tonight, man?" "Oh, I learned that I can see well in the dark, so I have good vision. And the crickets were fast, and so I had to be fast too, so I'm fast with my hands." "That's right. I think you have the makings of a great spearfisher. Here, let me show you to your room." "My room?" "That's right. You're going to be living with me from now on until the end of your training. It's going to be long, hard work. This was just the beginning. But you've shown great potential tonight. Come." And so the young man went into the house, and he stayed with the spearfisher for 1 year, for 2 years, for 3 years. 7 years later, a young man was coming upon his 19th birthday. And the spearfisher said, "It's been a pleasure, son. I have not seen a force like yours since I first saw that great man across the river during the tribal dance. So, I think you'll make a great spearfisherman after all." And well, so he did. And do you know that 2 years later, that young man, he caught 5 fish on the end of his spear. Arrowman is what they call him these days. And there's a statue of him in the village of Fortham. If you go there, check it out the next time you travel.